Kozmo's back. Kozmo's back. Got everybody out here screaming Kozmo's back. I said Dr. Destroyer's at 3. I got this deck profile for you guys. Bro. Oh, man. This is the last time I pick up Kozmos, and I'm never selling them again. I promise. Woo, bro. So today, I'm showcasing to you guys True King, Fire King Kozmos. Better yet, let's shorten it up and say True Fire King Kozmos. All right? The reason why I chose to play this build is because it was the most explosive and it doesn't suffer from the same weaknesses that pure Kozmo has, which is breaking on too many big ships or relying on one pilot to do your job. In today's format, it's not adequate and it's not strong enough to rely on just one pilot to do everything that Kozmos want to do. And by playing the engine that I'm playing, it allows you to end on 2 to 3 pilots no matter what. So that way you have the option and flexibility on tagging out on multiple different disruptions, which could be Slip Rider to pop, big ships to get untargetable beaters. You can do Dark Eclipser or Dark Lady to negate, Destroyer to out more problematic monsters. Just being able to end on multiple ships and combo out further so that you could do Summon Sorceress plays and on Infinity. Like sometimes you can end on Infinity with Dark Lady and Eclipser in hand and still 2 pilots. Like this deck can end on 3-4 negates with Mojo face down. It gets nuts. So I find that True Fire King Kozmos is like the best way to play this deck now. But you can do a Demise, you can do Artifact, you can do whatever you want. But this one personally for me, this one is going to be better if you want to play Kozmos competitively. So let's go ahead and hop into the list. I'll explain my card choices and my ratios because that's one thing with that's very different and preferential when you're playing Kozmos is the amount of pilots and the amount of ships and what particular ones you do and don't play. That one will be always subject to whoever wants to play the deck a certain way. So we're going to start off with the best pilot. 3 copies of Kozmo Tin Can. Boy, oh boy. I mean, I know he's a trash can, but this guy is the nuts. Like, he's the best pilot to me because in any given situation, he's always going to end you on any kind of play. Like, you're always guaranteed to play with him. Whereas with Strawman, even though the deck can set up for Strawman, Strawman requires a setup, Sword Troopers requires a setup, and Farm Girl says you have to have basically free reign to attack directly. And with Dark Lady, she stalls, and Good Witch, you need something to book. So Tin Can, which I call Win Can, basically, for me, always has been the best pilot. And I think most would agree because he's not situational, and he's always going to guarantee that you get some form of play so that you can keep going. So, like, any brick hand that has just a Tin Can in it is still playable because of him. So he's, like, the best pilot. And he's the only pilot that can tag out into any other pilot, including Strawman. Then we play 2 copies of Strawman. Stratos Man, basically. I love Stratos Man for the grind games, me personally. Stratos Man gets better and better the longer the game goes on because you get stronger targets. And a lot of the times, this guy is a 1-card combo. After turn 1, like, he's just a 1-card combo. Strawman is one of the reasons why you can get multiple pilots because if you have Diagram Big Ship or Fire King Island Big Ship, you use Strawman to get off the big ship, and then the big ship dies because of Strawman. Then you get another pilot. Now you have Strawman plus Tin Can. You have 2 pilots, and you're getting a search of another big ship. So now you have more options and flexibility so that you can disrupt your opponent. Because when you're going first, you just want to disrupt them with Dark Lady, Dark Eclipser, Infinity, Slip Rider, Dark Destroyer, anything that can interfere with your opponent's play, and still in on big ships that can't be Widow Anchored and can't be Molaseeked and can't be Impermanenced or Soliquidus or like anything. And if they tighten it, thank you, I get a float into my Tin Can now. So I think Strawman's correct at 2. 3 really does lead to brick hands, and I just don't think that it's optimal to play 3. I have played 3 in the past, and it always ended up backfiring and coming to bite me in the butt because my fear was, oh, what if I draw 1 and I need 2 in deck? That's not true. For full combos, you don't even need 2 in deck because ideally, if you have 1 in hand, when you special 1 from deck, when you're doing the full combo, the second one can be normal summon, and then when you pop another big ship, then you could just go for Tin Can instead of Strawman, or Sword Troopers when you have the setup for it. Next up, we have double Sword Troopers. Sword Troopers, like Strawman, becomes really powerful the later on the game gets. But don't get me wrong, this is the kind of deck where games don't last very long, but also this deck is actually really strong if you end up having to grind with it. This deck's grind game is insane because of cards like Cosmo Town and Strawman that get you all your resources that you lost to your Banish Zone. Like, for example, if you top deck trash, like let's say you drew into another diagram and you no longer have targets, or let's say you drew into like a big ship but no pilots to tag out. Cosmo Town can add Strawman. Strawman can get out a big ship, and then big ship can go into Tin Can, and then you got a whole nother play just off of that. So like these cards are really good for grind gaming. And what Sword Troopers ends up becoming, that's why I like playing 2 of them, is he becomes a 1-card combo after turn 1. And the 1-card combo is like really easy. Like if you open Diagram Big Ship, you will literally set yourself up for the Sword Trooper combo, where you go Sword Trooper, bring back another Sword Trooper, use this Sword Trooper, and bring back anything else that's valid as a target. And then you overlay both the Sword Troopers into Levia the Sea Dragon. You special Strawman from the Banish Zone, because you tag him out, right? And he's banished. You use him to bring back another big ship. And then basically, if you have a Farm Girl in your grave, you would have bought that back off of your Sword Trooper. Then you go in with your Farm Girl, and you have the nuts. Like just, and all of it's possible because of 1 Sword Trooper. So it's correct to play 2 Sword Troopers, because even though the Fire King Island gets the chicken, which is a level 3, it's better to have the other Sword Trooper for that interaction where you go Trooper for Trooper. And you have the Levier play, which is the nuts. You normally win just because of that. The card's insane. And they're not hard once per turn. Like, nothing in Kozmos is hard once per turn. Even though some effects might be once per turn, nothing's, like, hard once per turn, you know? Next up, we have 2 Farm Girls. I think it's correct to play 2 and not 1. Although some people would disagree. For me personally, especially because Destroyer's at 3, the OTK is easier to do when you have multiple Farm Girls at access to. So, like, especially when you have multiple pilots, you can easily OTK. So, yeah, 2 Farm Girls for me is more important. Is you Farm Girl for Destroyer, bring out another Farm Girl for another Destroyer. Use Destroyer, pop the big ship that just attacked, and then use the big ship, tag out. It's so insane. Like, this deck gets really bananas. So, these are the pilots that I played. And the reason why I chose these pilots over playing Good Witch and Wicked Witch is because these enable combos, whereas Wicked Witch is to stall and Good Witch also is kind of like to stall. They don't get any advantage. This gets advantage, this gets advantage, this gets advantage, and this gets advantage. So I felt that I wanted to play the best pilots that in certain scenarios would allow me to progress my game state versus paying 1,000 and sitting on a Wicked Lady, which is just not optimal for me. Even though, like, sure, you could tag out and attack with her for more damage. Like, that's just so mediocre to me. And Good Witch is only good for, like, Thunder Dragon matchups. So I could see her as, like, a side deck 1-up for that matchup. Or you just side in one of her. Because you don't have to search her. You could just special her from your deck through any of your big ships. And you could just book a moon to Thunder Dragon and then pop it with Destroyer. But for me, these are the best pilots. And I find that this is the correct ratio as well. If you want to play Kozmos, this is like the perfect ratio. You don't need 3 Sword Troopers. You don't need 1 Farm Girl. And you don't need 3 Strongman. I think 3 Tin Cans and 2 of all the other ones are good. Because even though Diagram Ship is an amazing 2-card combo, you still want to play enough pilots so that if you don't draw anything that pops a big ship in hand like Diagram or Fire King Island, you still will have an adequate amount of pilots in your deck so that you don't brick where you have all big ships and no pilots. But you still don't want to play, you never want to play more pilots than you play big ships. Does that make sense? Because your pilots are a resource that you access more frequently than you do the pilots. And pilots can always be added back to your hand off of your Cosmo Town. So I think that that's the perfect ratio for pilots. No more, no less. Now for our big ships, we play 3 copies of Dark Destroyer. This man, Destroyer is back. This man right here makes so many things possible with Kozmos now that he's at 3 versus when he was at 1. There's a little there's a little bit that the deck can do with just 1 Destroyer. Destroyer was like back in the day in Kozmo, basically Cosmo Monarch BA format. Destroyer was really the reason why this deck can OTK with like even the worst of hands. Like anything that got you to Destroyer would normally just get game. And what I normally do with Destroyers, like when I'm going in for my pushes, because my deck's so really consistent with getting multiple pilots, is I'll swing with 1 pilot like a Farm Girl, search a Destroyer, and then tag my other pilot out for a big ship, swing with that, and then tag Farm Girl out for Destroyer. Use him to pop the big ship I just attacked with, and then that big ship will float into another Farm Girl. Then I'll swing with Destroyer, then swing with Farm Girl, use Farm Girl, search another Destroyer, tag him out, use Destroyer to pop this Destroyer, and then special another one, then swing, and you just do so much damage. Like, it's game always. So Destroyer is nuts. And then there's so many other combos that you can do other than OTKing, setting up nasty boards. Like, you use Destroyer on your big ships more than you use him to pop your monsters, your opponent's monsters. And it's just a fact. He's just so nuts. Like, there's so many possibilities because of this card. He's ridiculous. Then we have 3 Slip Riders. Oh, yeah, and there is a combo, too, with Summon Sork where you special a big ship through Summon Sork's effect, and then you use Destroyer on turn 1. You use Destroyer to pop it, and then that's how you can go Infinity plus Destroyer plus Dark Lady in hand or on field, whichever one is your choice. And then Tin Can on in phase has a chance to search out another Dark Lady or an Eclipser or another Destroyer. So you have the nuts. Like, you have so much disruptions. But anyway, Slip Rider also is another 3 of. So this classification of the big ship is the ones I like to call the ones that basically enable combos, but also disrupt combos too. So these are flexible because they enable your own combos, because it's good to pop your own Cosmo Town, and it's good to pop your own big ships. Heck, sometimes I pop my own Fire King Island, literally, so that I can destroy all my big ships and finish OTKing. Like, there were legit OTKs where I was just swinging for tons of damage, and then I used Destroyer to pop a big ship and float it into Slip Rider. Used Slip Rider to pop my own Fire King Island, killed all my big ships, floated into more, and just got game. So, like, these enable combos, but they also disrupt your opponent, because during your opponent's turn, you can 1-for-1 their back row and their monsters. So they're more impactful when you use them on your cards, but they're still interruptions nonetheless. Think of it like how Dryden is with Zodiacs, where during either player's turn, you can pop whatever you want. And then next up for the 2 of big ships, I play 2 Forerunner and 2 Dogfighter. Now, I actually like Dogfighter because he is another big ship that can float down into Dark Lady. And also, you have to have your ladder adequate, because with Cosmos, the pilots tag out in an upper level, but the big ships tag down into levels lower than them. So it's very important that in grind games, when you're playing against a really good deck that can out your big ships, that you have the ability to float more than 2 times. Like, Destroyer into Forerunner, Forerunner into Dogfighter, Dogfighter into Slip Rider, and then Slip Rider into a Tin Can on in phase, which is nice. But what's more important is you need as many big ships that can tag out into Slip Rider as possible, so that when you have your set rotation combo, you don't want to have like set rotation and Slip Rider in hand. You want set rotation plus any of these guys, so that they'll float into Slip Rider, which will pop the Cosmo Town that you gave them, and you get the search, and that's the full combo, which is nuts. So also Dogfighter helps you to out-resource your opponent, and he's a really powerful, skillful card. Like, the one thing I would do is cut 1 Dogfighter for Delta Shuttle. So, like, that's the only thing I'm missing. Delta Shuttle's a common. I don't even know why I couldn't get it, but Delta Shuttle's also important in this list, because there's turn 1 combos with him where you Foolish Burial 1 of your Sword Troopers, and then you use your full combo with your Field Spell to pop your Dogfighter, and then you float into a Sword Troopers, then Sword Trooper. For the Sword Trooper, you send off a Delta Shuttle, and then Levier. Oh my god, like, oh, this deck is crazy. Okay, I have combo tutorials and all that, and combo videos if you guys are interested. But anyways, yeah. So these are really powerful. Forerunner really helps you because your life points are used as a resource in this deck. So being able to get them back really helps, not just for in-a-match procedures, but so that you're not in the danger zone, and you can continue to effectively pay more life points for all your effects. He can't be targeted. He can't be targeted. Moving forward to the median. I call her the median because she's like a pilot and a ship in the same time. She doesn't float, but she can tag out, and she's a solid negation against a lot of the best decks currently right now. And she's not hard once per turn. That's why I like playing 2 of her, because any combo with Diagram plus a ship, you can get 2 Dark Ladies. But one of them is a gamble off of Tin Can. So there's a chance you might not get 1, but guaranteed to get at least 1. But double Dark Lady's still good in a lot of matchups. And I also play 1 Dark Eclipser, which it should be at 2. But I only was able to get 1 when I picked up this core. So Dark Eclipser is really powerful in the Altergeist matchup specifically, because they really don't have a way to out it except by going Hextia plus something else, which is like Hextia Prime Banshee. But Cosmos never let a deck like that get to that point. You never let decks get to that point where they're too much to handle. Cosmos in-games immediately, and Altergeist can't. Basically, they can't Mullaseek this guy, they can't Soliquitus, and they can't, like, use Protocol to negate it. Like, it can negate all their traps, including Protocol, and it's not once per turn. And Tin Can and Delta Shuttle set you up for this. So in any matchup that plays exclusively traps a lot, like Dracos, Paleos, and Altergeist, they all lose to this, because even Paleos can't target this, and they can't get rid of it. Dracos can't pop it with any of their traps, and they can't have this attack with Apocalypse because it can negate even in damage step. So this card is so skillful in a lot of matchups that I want to play 2 of it, and there's even a combo where I do this, just this plus a True King to make Calamities. So, yep, that's all your Cosmos. Really nuts, you guys. Like, this deck is so high ceiling this format. Like, the big ships alone make it so good against everything. Because, like, your opponent can't Widow Anchor, they can't Impermanence, they can't Valor, they can't Soliquite, they can't Mullaseek, they can't Cerberus, they can't Unicorn. All those outs, they can't use them. And if they find a way to kill the big ship, if it's not a board load, you're floating. And this deck gets multiple big ships, so one board load is not enough. You can just kill them anyways. Now for the True Kings. So my reason for playing True Kings over Dracos was that the Draco engine is way more bricky. It's too bricky. Way too bricky, okay? I'm drawing Draco spells and Draco traps with no diagram, and then I already have a brick hand, and my brick hand's worse because these Draco spells and Draco traps could have been more combo pieces. Or I'm drawing Draco monsters with big ships and no diagram. Like, the true Draco engine is only good whenever you have diagram, but you only play 5 diagrams. So if you're playing your deck basically hoping to God that you draw diagram all the time, it's going to really suck. So the Draco engine is too situational. You always have to have 3 card combos instead of 2 card combos. Whereas with the True King engine, whenever you draw True Kings, they extend your combos easily and better than the Dracos could. Instead of like, oh, I tribute this trap and summon this monster, then pop. That's more resources you're wasting. Whereas the True Kings, you just reveal them, pop a ship in another one, and then you get True King of all Calamities. I'd rather sit on a Calamities than an Ignis Heat or what's his name, Knuckles any day. Because Calamities says your opponent can't play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're going to kill them next turn. Then True King engine is also more compact. You see these 4 cards? If I was playing Dracos, this would have to be Maiden, Ignis, Knuckles, right? That's 4. And then you'd need Heritage, Disciples, Apocalypse, and Return. That's too much cards that are too bricky and situational. I don't like the Draco engine. I'm sorry. My player preference is True King. It's more compact. It extends more combos because every time you revolve these, you can pop a big ship in hand or in field, and you extend way more combos with this engine than you ever could with the Draco. So yeah, I'm sorry. True Kings are the way to go. And then finally, the chicken. If you ever open with Diagram Fire King Island, or any combination of the both, like even with Set Rotation and Terraforming, you can use your basically, you go Diagram first, search this out, and then Fire King Island next to search this out. And you're popping your big ship, obviously, and you're floating. Then you reveal this, pop this in a big ship, and then you go full combo, and then you get this guy, and it's just nuts. Like, it's really, really powerful. And that's it for the monsters. No hand traps. We don't need it. We really don't. We don't. Spells. 3 copies of the double Ds. This field spell superior because it doesn't have the drawback of Fire King Island. But don't get it twisted, because Fire King Island is actually so broken for the fact that you can pop it by setting, like sometimes if I have double island, I'll set one island over the other one. So that way, because it's set, if it gets popped, it won't get an effect to destroy my field again because it has to be face up. But I'll set one over the first one just so that I can destroy my home field so I can get out more pilots or more ships or OTK. So Fire King Island, what it seems to be a drawback, actually is a combo extender. So even though this one is not ideal to draw multiples in, it still extends your combos when you have more. But I like Diagram because it has more longevity. I can keep it up and I can resolve it more than once. I only play 1 target for this, so you resolve it once, and after that, you're using it to just blow your field up, which is pretty nuts too. Like I explained to you, when you slip ridered for this in battle phase, pop this, all your big ships that already declared an attack get destroyed, and then you summon more out and keep attacking for game. So Fire King Island enables more combos than Diagram, but Diagram has more longevity than Fire King Island, which that's why I feel like, you know, you always want to go Diagram first and Fire King Island after. So yeah, I really like it. The ratio is perfect for me. I was even going to play a Nefertiti's engine so that I can have more chances of popping big ship. I was going to do 3 Disciple of the Nefertiti's and like 1 Sacred Phoenix. I'll just normal her, pop big ship in hand, and just go bonkers. But I feel like this was enough because you have 3 of this, 2 Terraforming, and 1 Set Rotation. So that's 9. That's 1/4 of your deck. Then we have 3 Combo Towns. Basically Combo Town. Kozmos, So Combolicious. This field spell has more longevity than Diagram and Fire King Island put together. This allows you to grind for a very, very long time. And as long as you manage your resources properly and use your Forerunner adequately, you'll actually never run out of fodder for your Cosmo Town, so long as you can fend off your opponent's attacks. Which is really easy because you're summoning 3K untargetable big ships. I don't care what logic you have, that's good against any deck. Like, it's just so hard to deal with them. It's the nuts. Like, you can't Unicorn Service, you can't Soliquid, you can't Molaseek, you can't Widow Anchor. If you Afterburner, I'm plussing, but I believe Afterburner targets, so I don't even think you could do that. But anyway, so Combo Town is the nuts. Its best effect is to add from the Bannerstone to hand. But it has 3 broken effects. You can fix your hand, unbrick your hand. You can pop it with Slip Rider and get a search. Or the best effect is to add your Banished Strawmans, add back your Banished Destroyers and your Eclipsers. You just get more resources. This helps you to stay in the grind game. So Combo Town is the nuts too. Like, all your spells are just field spells or cards that lead to them. And then we have double Optimus Prime, and the best spell in the deck is Set Rotation. There's no better spell. Set Rotation is godly. Like, Set Rotation plus Big Ship gets you so far ahead. Like, you're not supposed to lose that duel. If you lose that duel, you just didn't know what you were doing. And then we have one E-Telly. I mean, of course, if you're playing Heralds, that's a different story. But E-Telly is really good too, because this not only enables OTKs, but it acts as the extra pilot so that I don't have to play additional copies of any other pilot. So I guess, like, technically speaking, I can cut one tin can because this could be the third tin can. But I just like having the extra copy of a pilot that I need, that I also don't have to commit a normal summon to, and I can abuse it in more way than one, because I can set it as a real trap and then use it, and it becomes a trap because it becomes a pilot that could tag out to a threat, or I can use it to OTK. So all the spells are flexible, and none of the spells are bad. Like, you don't play any bad spells, so like, your spells don't break your hand. Your spells actually do the opposite. Diagram unbricks your hand, Fire King Island unbricks your hand, and Cosmo Town unbricks your hand, and these get to them. And this is just a free tin can. So all of your spells make any bad hand good. Then for our traps, I chose to still play 3 Mojos. I find that this card is way too high ceiling and skillful this format to not play. It deals with Altergeist when they chain Manifestation. You banish their target. It banishes from field or grave. Banishing Rays, multi-rolls, engages, Molliseeks, banishing any Thunder Dragon monsters, banishing reincarnations. It's crazy. It doesn't target, it doesn't destroy. It gets over anything. Like, this is a problem solver that Kozmos really had an issue with, because a lot of cards can't be destroyed by card effects or battle, or they can't be targeted. And Dark Destroyer can't get over that. And if they can't be attacked over, if its attack's too big, that's where Mojo becomes the only way to out it. So it's correct to play this card. And if you're not playing this card, I think that it is incorrect. But everybody can play their deck however they want. That's the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now we have Griffin and Gumblar. Anytime you have a diagram combo, you can end on these, because you do double Strawman, and Strawman can get out more big ships. But you have to go into Summon Sort and target one of them and get out an extra guy, so that way you can end on these but still have a pilot out on field. So it's integral to always do Reproductive Summon Sort and then go into these guys, instead of transform all 4 of the monsters instantly into them, so that you still keep a pilot, so you can tag out and then go into this guy's zone and rip cards out of your opponent's hand, or you tag out and go into this guy's zone so that you can still resolve the special summon monsters effect. They're really good, and sometimes you can put them in the main monster zone. It depends on how your hand is. Summon Sort, which is incredible. Trigate, because of the OTK potential, and the same thing with Mojo. If I don't have Mojo, then I need to use Trigate to banish something. It's just there to banish. Like, I just wanted to make sure that no matter what situation, that I would always be able to deal with any problems that are thrown my way. Trishbania, super easy to set up, and you can abuse his effect, because your pilots aren't once per turn, he's not once per turn. You banish back rows, you kill them, they're dead. So like, for Altergeist, Sky Strikers, Paleos, Dracos, this is the bane of their existence. Your ships can't even really be outed by their back row, but then you just banish it anyways. It's just nuts. Then we have Phoenix and Cerberus and Reproductus for the Link 2s. I just find that Reproductus is the best of all the Link 2s for this deck, because you play Psychics and Machines, so you never really have 3 of the same type at all times. So Reproductus is like really the only way you can consistently go into Summon Sort. True King of all Chlamydia for the XYZs. Titanic Galaxy, we have Infinity, Nova, Pleiades, and you can play Volcasaurus too. It has come up occasionally, but like, I never really am in a scenario where I'm just like, I'm stuck in main phase and I'm still comboing off. Like, if Time in a Round gets called, bro, like, I'm already in battle phase. Like, this deck, the combos don't take long if you know what you're doing, and you could just rush through it. Especially if your opponent doesn't have a response, you just rush through it and get straight to battle phase and go to work. OTKs are serious. Then we have one Leviair, because it's a crazy nutty combo piece. If I played one more copy of Sword Trooper in my main deck, you could play 2 Leviairs. But once you use both your Sword Troopers to make this, you lose access to Sword Trooper altogether, because there's really like no way to get it back unless you play Called by Haunted. So I just played just the one, and normally when you resolve that one Sword Trooper combo, you get so much advantage, you get so far ahead that you're probably not going to lose the duel. And there's too much threats, there's too much untargetable stuff for your opponent to just bore load and think they're going to win. Like, they can't just bore load and think they're going to deal with 3 big ships with 1 bore load. And the same goes for Borosword. Like, they can't. It's just too difficult. Because Borosword can still be popped by Dark Destroyer. He just can't be destroyed by battle. And one of my little texts is Daigusto Phoenix. The reason why I play it is because a lot of combos, you do double Strawman. And when you're going second and you're using Strawman twice to get out more big ships, it's better if you already have the adequate way to tag out, because your diagram combos get the strawmans out before you normal summon. So you'll special 2 strawmans for your deck through big ships. Then you can normal 1 pilot, which ideally should be farm girl. And you overlay your 2 strawmans for this, use his effect so you can attack twice. And then you swing with farm girl, you swing with all your big ships, and this swings twice, so it just helps you to OTK faster. Like I'm telling you, I don't want games to last longer than 2 turns. Like I just want to go first, interrupt them, and then on my second turn, kill them. And that's the main deck and the side deck. I hope that you guys enjoyed the deck profile. You definitely should check out just all of my other content on my channel. I think this is probably the best Cosmo build that I've done up to date. It's just the most explosive, and I needed. It's exactly what I needed it to be. I find that this one is good enough that I really will, as soon as I take my Dark Worlds to the next regionals, the one after that, I'm seriously playing Cosmos, like for real. Just because I just have a point to prove. Rogue is the best decks. Like, Rogue has the best decks to offer, bro. Like, Rogue for life. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. You folks have a beautiful day, all right? And stay positive. Peace.